Yo, yo, yo. It is good. Really need to get my applause button set up to make the entrances, the magnitude that they deserve. What's going on? Hello. Welcome back to the stream. So, I realized today we've kind of been following a life cycle, if you will, of our new single, Breathe Deep. So, started off in Beatsober as one of the beats. We went from there and kind of expanded it, did some mixing, mastering, that kind of stuff. Prepped it for submission, to our distributor. We went through the process of actually submitting it to DistroKid and, kind of getting that set up, getting the next steps taken care of to set us up for eventually releasing. And when it releases, the goal, I think, is to, get it onto playlists is a big one. Have people share it and, tell people that they think will like it about it. Organic stuff and also just kind of like numbers on the playlist game. So we're just going to take it kind of to the next step, just in that natural progression. So again, last time we actually made the album art and submitted it through DistroKid, which was cool. It was like 5 weeks in advance or something like that, which is much more in advance than we've done in the past. And that's going to come back. So remember that idea around like 5 weeks being the timeline. It's interesting because we watched a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff like that would give you advice. And, most do mention you should be able to, or you should pitch it 4 weeks ahead of, or you should submit it 4 weeks ahead of your release to give you time to pitch it to Spotify editorial playlists. So we did that for a bit and got rejected from those playlists, like the 2 or 3 submissions that we did send. And I think which is common, and I think got discouraged and realized that you can actually submit to DistroKid for distribution, like really, I think like 1 week ahead of time. It does take away your chances for editorial playlist placement, but I think our mindset before was like, oh, it's so unlikely to happen that screw it, we'll just, do it kind of on a rush so we can get it out sooner, essentially. We don't have to wait 4 or 5 weeks. So now that we're on more of a regular release schedule and like have like a rhythm going, and we always talk about our music as like a stream of consciousness these days. I think albums and stuff like that naturally bubble up, but just thinking of music as a constant outlet, a breath, an exhale, your morning exhale that you do every morning to kind of prepare you for the day and to wake up your body. It's like that, but through music. You feel me? I know that makes sense. So here we find ourselves back on DistroKid. We have this pre-save link, which I have a few thoughts on that too. Like, I wish it was easier. I wish it was more integrated into Spotify. And I mean, like, where's Apple Music? Also, DistroKid, come on. Because it makes you like sign in, and it's these wild permissions. Like, it makes the user agree to let DistroKid or Hyperfollow or whatever, like, change all these settings on the behalf of the user. So people often see that and are discouraged, and it's like hard to do, like, because people are mostly clicking on that link in Instagram or something like that, which then pops up its own browser. Like, it's not Chrome that you usually use or Safari. It uses this weird browser in Instagram, and you're never signed in Spotify. You always have to sign in, and you always have to agree every time. It would be cool if they let you kind of like, if it was more connected, it more so like deep linked, I guess, to the Spotify app itself. So then you're already signed in. You've already like opted in to, when you hit pre-save, to like let Spotify add shit to your library, which is essentially why they need that permission. And only make them do it one time. Like every time I try to, this is one of the best ways you can support an artist, pre-saving singles, pre-saving music. They make it so hard from a user experience standpoint that it's a shame. I mean, it's like everyone kind of has, a lot of people complain about Spotify not paying enough royalties, which is true. But like, talk about solvable, easily solvable shit first. You know, don't just like say like, hey, dismantle your business and give more to the creators, which like they should do, but are they going to? No. So like, what can we change? Making it less friction to freaking pre-save. All right. So let me cross soapbox talk off my to-do list for the stream. Thank you. So yeah, I pitched Breathe Deep earlier today. And I think there's some like personal information and stuff throughout the process. I don't know, there may or may not be. So I went ahead and submitted it ahead of time and figured we could just like look at this stuff and talk through it. It's a pretty short form, like it only takes a few minutes to complete. These are all of the questions that it asks right here. And this is just the output. I did this 7 hours ago. So yeah, I'm actually gonna play the track while we do this. So remember, this is our album art, you know, kind of captures the streets of New York, but also that cold, transitional, you know, new beginnings slash endings of that seasonal transition, seasonal depression, to put it frankly, as a lot of people kind of put it. That's where Breathe Deep comes in, relating to that seasonal depression and just transitional woes. So we'll get to that in the description, which I might have to add that piece about seasonal depression, honestly, because that's kind of like more succinct than what I wrote. I essentially describe that, but not so directly. So we're in Brooklyn, we're currently based in Brooklyn. You know, as someone who used to live in Pittsburgh and now lives in Brooklyn, like, I'd like to believe that this has some effect on it, you know. I'm not sure if they try to diversify and get people from all over the world and all over the country, or they maybe would bubble up like locations like Brooklyn or LA to the top to like check those out first. I don't know. Maybe there's an assumed level of commitment or something like that. I don't know. That's probably an assumptuous thought. So unlike DistroKid, we actually get real genres on Spotify because, again, DistroKid, when you submit, it makes you pick from like just the top level, like pop, alternative, rock. And it's hard to describe your own music in those simple terms. Or any music, really, like any new music, I'd say. And a lot of older music. So it's really nice to see on Spotify that, you know, because it's not an aggregation of multiple streaming services, it's just its own thing. It's in a controlled submission. You get some like subgenres that they recognize. If you try to use these terms like on DistroKid and then feed it to like Spotify, feed it to Tidal, feed it to Apple Music, they probably don't stylize their subgenres like this, and it would just be too hard to integrate. So that's probably why those genres kind of just suck. Like the choices suck on when you're submitting through your distributor on DistroKid. The culture question, it's usually none of these. You know, I'm a cis white man, so unless unless Spotify begins to introduce that as a culture, which they absolutely should not, that will probably remain none of these. Moods, I thought this was chill and romantic. Play it again. I played it on my phone for Kyler earlier, and I was like, do you think that this is romantic or happy? Because to me, it's kind of one and the same. In addition to that audience, like soundboard sound, I need to also get like a joke, like toots. That was kind of it in the beat. I gotta time my jokes around that. And she was like, it's romantic. So I had to go with that. And it's definitely chill. And if you remember last time, I tried to like model the song off of, let's see. Yeah, that's probably fine. You get it. You can see like the album art and that kind of thing. I'll just leave it like that. Oh, okay. I see that arrangement. All right. It's a beat. I think this was like, you know, beat versus vocals. I'm not sure. I think it was like, no, because instrumentals down here. This was just kind of a mix of different like styles, if I remember correctly. So beats was definitely appropriate. You hear the electric guitar, the piano. There's all kinds of instruments like banjo, you know, tubular bells, arm sounds. I thought that was rather avant-garde of Spotify to include. It's not a cover, it's not a remix. It's a studio recording. The other option was live recording. So most of my stuff is going to be studio as well. And it is instrumental. This is what I'm kind of like hoping will be a nice doorway to some playlists if we do have, you know, once we ultimately get one. Listen, I'm not really planning to get placed, even though we're following all the right steps. Like, and that's something that I wanted to talk about too. Like, I sort of touched on it already, but it's almost before you get that initial kind of traction on those playlists and your numbers are still low, it's definitely unlikely, I would say, that you'll get accepted when you submit this. But that's okay. I think it's a good exercise, and then you can also take what you used here and like send it to curated playlists, which there's, you know, if you go on Reddit, there's a bunch of different like Google Doc, Excel sheets, Google Sheets of like, you know, tables of contact information for playlists, especially for lo-fi stuff that I can find. So I can use this later anyway. So it's not a waste, but it's honestly like a free, I'm viewing it as like a free lottery ticket, which, you know, hopefully one day I don't have to think about it like that. But until then, we're playing the Powerball, baby. So yeah, as you could hear, there's kind of, you know, certain standout instruments, I would say. And that's what I wanted to focus on in the description in like one sentence. And then the prompt was like, was there a story to how this song was created? It doesn't really ask about like the music qualities. It's more so like, you know, how are you going to promote this? Like, what's the story behind the song? So I talked about Beattober, but I'm going to play it again because, you know, again, while I do this stuff, like, I'll have the song on in the background. So like if any detail doesn't reflect kind of what that product is, you know, it reminds me what the kind of overall flavor is, so I can work in within that. So I'm gonna play it one more time and read through this in like a, you know, an audiobook type way. Let the intro play. This instrumental track transports you to a quiet, rainy day during a transition of seasons. The background rain creates a lush atmosphere that hugs a chopped up piano loop, warm electric guitar, and soft synth bass. There it is. The original version was created for the Beattober Daily Beat Challenge in October. We liked this one so much that we expanded, remixed, and remastered it for streaming. Once released, we'll reintroduce it to our audience to show how far a small idea can go. Now, this is pretty good, honestly, but like, I think a hook of it could be, which is true, right? Like I'm not trying to exploit this because it's definitely a serious topic, seasonal depression. But it's true, you know, like that's where this song is coming from. Like I get those feelings when the song was created there. So I think it's okay to use that as like my hook. So let me see how I can edit this. I haven't really. I've never gone through the edit process, so let's do that too. You know, let's walk through this too. Let's say something's incorrect or you want to change your pitch. You know, this is what that looks like. Confirm where you're from. So this is going to probably just go through. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So this is actually just the exact form that I filled out earlier. Genres. Here's the cultures. Oh yeah, what's that style? Beats, Christmas, holiday. Okay, so they're just looking for specific like qualities in a song. This styles isn't a musical term here. Yeah, and here's the other tracks, or here's the other questions. Okay, so we want to kind of splice in and redirect, I say, the description here to highlight seasonal depression. You know, breathe deep is what I've been to multiple therapists. Like it's really hard to find a good therapist for yourself. I'd say most people I've talked to have been to multiple. You have to kind of try them out, shop around. But they've all brought up breathing as a way to process emotions, a way to process things like depression. So the title of the song plays into that, and I think that's what I want to mention. As you can see, we only have 7 characters left. So I think I'll have to remove something. So let me read through and think about, what is kind of the least important, I would say, or the least serving of that story. Okay, this instrumental track transports you to a quiet, rainy day. Maybe breathe deep. Just direct as. This gets sketchy because I have to delete this. But I'm going to keep it on my clipboard. I just hit Command X. So can't copy anything else. Breathe Deep is a song made to soothe seasonal depression. That's fire, actually. This instrumental track, and then here we just get into kind of more of the breakdown of the song. which it probably isn't that important because they asked you that shit earlier. So maybe I could take some of this out. Quiet rainy day. This is during a transition of seasons. Yes, so that ties it back to the seasonal depression thing. Okay. This is very like focused on the instrumentation. So this is on the chopping block, even though I like it. It's a good sentence. I just don't know if that's what they're looking for. Any plans to promote it? The process of creating the song. Like that's not really that. The original version was created for Beat Sober, so I probably wouldn't keep this. This is like goes back to the story, but is it even a good story? Like I think this might be the story, the seasonal stuff. Anyway, the original version was created for the Beattober Daily Beat Challenge in October. We liked this one so much that we expanded, remixed, and remastered it for streaming. This feels fluffy. Like I feel like I just don't need this. Let's go. Yeah, I think that's it. And what did that say again? We like this one so much that we expand. Yeah, it's like, okay. Yeah, you like your own song. Breathe Deep is a song made to soothe seasonal depression. The instrumental track transports you to a quiet, rainy day. During a transition of seasons, the background rain song creates a lush atmosphere that hugs a chopped up piano loop, warm electric guitar lead, and soft synth bass. The original version, okay, so again, I really want to drive home. Is soothe a good word? I think it is. I'm just challenging that. Is soothe a good word? Seasonal depression. Doesn't right, because it doesn't cure it. I think soothe is very appropriate. Listen to the song. The song will make you feel better. And this is just like an atmospheric connection to the theme. Seasonal depression is the theme. The setting is the rainy day, which is set by this rain sound, lush atmosphere, right? That hugs, and we're mentioning the instrumentation. Just the things that I think make the song distinct. The original version was created for the Beat Challenge in October. I'll say 22. We like this song. Am I saying song a lot? Yeah. Just trying something. I don't have enough characters to express, like, it'd be a good addition to Lush Lo-Fi. But what I sneakily did was include Lush as a descriptor, so we're good. I'll use a period here. All right, so I think that's a lot stronger. Happy about that. So that's cool. You can oh, there's our streaming stuff over the past 7 days. Didn't really want to show that because it's pretty low, but that's what we're doing. We're out here just for the love of the game, to be honest. I mean, what else would we be doing? So the next thing, so anyway, that was awesome. I think that update to the pitch, like actual paragraph, just puts across that distinct theme that I feel like is really common. I see it all over like memes and stuff like that. Like seasonal depression, right? Like I feel like that's very social media. See it everywhere. So hopefully that resonates. We'll see. And if not, I'm going to make another beat and show you every step of the way again, and we'll try something else. So we'll see what ends up working, because I'm not quitting. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to do was react to Eldre's new video, because it kind of deals with this stuff. He got 44 million streams on Spotify this year. Shout out to the lo-fi goat, the loat. But he's a woat because, I don't know. The L stands for lo-fi, so he could be the loat.
Yo, it's that time of year, Spotify rap.
So yeah, this dude is, honestly shared so much knowledge and made it just fun to digest and fun to be like on the ride, like kind of along for the ride, as opposed to like being too obsessed with the product, like the output and numbers and stuff like that. Like it was always like very focused on the process and just like kind of creating easy like shortcuts for yourself and that kind of thing. And I just really appreciate it. So shout out Eldre. So yeah, we just pitched our single, so that's cool. Let me do something real quick. Dun-dun, dun-dun. So yes. We just pitched our single. Breathe Deep comes out January 13th. Follow us on Spotify so it pops up on your release radar. But yeah, I think that this is related to what we were working on, because the most kind of plays that we get consistently are from playlists. And these aren't Spotify editorial playlists, but they are like, curated playlists from just musicians and, lo-fi people, that kind of thing. But they get lots of listeners. Like shout out Palladism. They're always supportive, and we get a lot of plays from their playlists. But yeah, it all comes back to kind of like getting the music to more ears, right? Like that's when I see the numbers like Spotify Wrapped, I try to keep it with a grain of salt, but like to me that's representing like the reach, and it's representing like who's hearing your music. I kind of started off like in this music grind, the music game, like playing shows, and going to like clubs, bars, venues, like before I was even 21, like going into playing bars, like in like a punk rock, or like a pop punk rather, like cover band, like Blink 182, like The Starting Line, shit like that. But yeah, I've played some really great shows, like, sold out venues. From that to empty rooms. It's like the only other people watching are like the other bands. Like that happened quite a bit. So these numbers, yo, what's up, fanboy? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, these numbers represent the reach. And I just think about all the different people across the world who are listening to this, and like each of them are in their own situation. They have their own story. Like it's easy to get caught up in numbers, but I think like they're a reflection of how far your music reaches, which is like a beautiful measurement in my opinion. So yeah, I haven't watched this yet, but I'm going to see how this kind of relates back to what we were talking about. It takes over
everybody's social media feeds. My top artist this year, Drake was number one, but then we got Kendrick, Vince Staples, Yeet, what? And then Frank Ocean. So I'd say I did pretty good. Yeet, let me know in the comments who your top artist was. I'm pretty sure it's Drake, but still let us know. On the art
Yeet reminds me of like when Young Lean came out, like when he first started popping off on SoundCloud, like just that energy, like that punk rock energy, just like, you know, dissonant energy. Love it.
Excited things. I got 44.4 million streams on Spotify this year, which is like crazy amount of streams, right? But last year I got 65 million streams. So I know for a lot of people it's kind of like, oh no, what happened? What did I do? Am I falling off? Is this the beginning of the end? Existential crisis. No. Before we get into the rap, the stats and these numbers and tips and all.
I respect this angle for real. Like, seriously, this is what I was talking about. Like, you know, Eldredge is always just real about things, and like feels like I'm talking to my friend, like behind closed doors, off camera. Like, just feels like someone I could trust. Like, maybe that's parasocial of me, but he just like kind of has just a lack of bullshit, which I appreciate.
That I just want to make the focus of this video on catalog, because yes, I got a whopping 21 million less streams this year than I did last year, but I didn't release that much music this year. I took a break from social media, came back to TikTok with absolutely zero engagement. All my metrics, analytics down in the dumps. So honestly, when I saw 40 million streams, I was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, this year I did a lot of things differently. I didn't do my usual chasing trends, trying to make viral content. I did a lot of work behind the scenes on like bigger projects. I started a whole NFT project, made a bunch of money. So I really lost sight of what I actually did to.
That lo-fi guy artwork is hard.
Get 65 million streams.
I didn't buy any NFTs, but I definitely thought about screenshotting it. I'm not gonna lie.
First place. So without further ado, let's get into my rap, give you guys a little behind the scenes looks at all these numbers, and give you some tips and tricks along the way. Also, this video is sponsored by DistroKid, but more on that in a bit. Okay, here it is. Let's jump in. 6.7 million listeners stream my music 44.5 million times. My listeners saved my songs 660,000 times. This is a huge stat. I highly recommend in all your marketing efforts to prioritize getting people to actually save your songs, because the more saves you get, that means they're either at.
That goes back to the pre-save, right? Like, why do they make it so hard to pre-save? You know, you click on someone's pre-save link in like Instagram or whatever, and you have to use Instagram's shitty web browser, and like you have to sign in every time, and you have to opt in every time to like permissions, and it just like drives people away. Like, if it could just be more integrated, pre-saves with the actual app, I don't have to sign in every time. I don't have to like opt into all this wild shit every time. Like, giving my whole Spotify soul, like giving it permission, giving the permissions away. It's like, yeah, you can delete everything and just like control my playlists, control my info. Like, it's wild to read every time, you know. Just make it a one-time thing. Opt in, maybe check in every 3 months or something if you haven't done it in a while. But like, man, that's one way they could help artists. Like, aside from giving more royalties, which is unrealistic, like I just don't see them doing that. They can do little things like this to help the artists that they're not doing it. They could though.
Them to their playlist, or just add them to their library that they listen to frequently. Each of these 600,000 saves are multiple streams at a time. Here we go. Catalog. Steven Universe was streamed 11 million times this year, and guess when I released this song? I believe it was March 2020. So pretty much 3 years ago this song was dropped, and it's still giving me 11 million streams this year. But I know what you're thinking, Eldredge, how long can you live off your hits? Well, we'll see. My music was heard in 181 countries. That's almost all.
Forever. Classics are forever.
Shout out to you if you're from one of these countries. Drop your flag below. Definitely appreciate you guys for listening. Yeah, we're worldwide, baby. My music was shared over 36,000 times. This is similar to saves. Like, seeing this really makes me happy, because this means that not only are people finding my music, listening to it, but they're also sharing it to their friends and family. So thank you all for sharing my music. I couldn't do it without you. This is a little merch stat. My top seller was Random Loops Volume 1. Shout out to you guys. This is a free download download. You can get it, prop.yodre.com. Yo, this had me dead. This was my most shared lyric.
I like that edit.
There are no lyrics. Listeners added my song to over 500,000 playlists this year. This is up there with getting people to save your tracks. Everybody always thinks about editorial playlists all the time. But when you're building a catalog and you want people to be listening to your music forever,
here we go. This is what we're here for. Because this is our editorial playlist. That's like the official Spotify pitch, and trying to get on like the big playlists that they have. They're like in-house Spotify playlists. He's saying using those like curated playlists from, you know, not big companies, just like playlisters essentially, everyday people, but they still get big numbers, big listens on their playlists.
being in 500,000 playlists in a year is super important. These are people just adding to their personal playlist that they're going to be listening to on the daily. Shout out to Mellow Beats. I was actually in a couple editorial playlists this year, and seeing as I had no viral TikTok songs this year, let me tell you my almost proven strategy to getting an editorial playlist often. But before we do that, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, DistroKid. If you don't know what DistroKid is yet, you are sleeping big time.
Bro, I mean, it doesn't look real quick. That's all I'm going to say. We love DistroKid here on this channel. Look, I have my hyperfollow pulled up. You know what I'm saying? We walk through the DistroKid process. Shout out to DistroKid. They're the best.
Be watching this
with peace and love.
I know my Spotify audience is different from YouTube, but if you were the 1, 5, or 10% of my fans on your Spotify for artists, please let me know. Shoot me a DM privately or post it on your story so I can repost. Honestly, if 5 people prove to me that they're my 1%, I'll give each of you guys a free vinyl. 5 of you. Damn, why did I just say that? All right, I'm sticking to it. DM me, post it on your story, whatever it may be, that you were the 1% in my fans.
That's
send 5 people a free vinyl. I'm committing to it. But yeah, 44.5 million streams, 6.7 million listeners, 1.5 hours of listening, and 181 countries. So again, thank you everybody for listening to my music. I really appreciate it. Real quick, I do want to touch on one more thing regarding catalog. This is something that, if you follow Russ, this is something he preaches about a ton. Because as you know, he released like a song a week for a couple years straight or something like that. And like...
Oh, I was wondering about this. Because like I was saying earlier, like we're kind of shifting gears. And we're going to just treat music as like a stream of consciousness. Just always release stuff, just put out singles, put out EPs if it feels right. But yeah, it's like, is there a quantity balance?
Some of them did some numbers, but eventually he started to have his hits here and there, and people were able to go back and listen to all his old stuff and really become true fans of him. And then when you do something like me, take some time off for your mental health, you're not just forgotten, because now you have all these songs for people to still discover and still listen to.
That's true.
Especially with TikTok these days. You can go on TikTok right now and promote your favorite song that you made from 2 years ago.
Yo, actually, that's so true. I gotta show y'all this. I think we edited this on stream, actually. I'm gonna show you the, what's it called? The Biggie flip that I did over a Beattober beat recently. Sorry. So I made this like 2 weeks ago, something like that. It did very like average numbers, like, you know what I'm saying? Like not good, not great. 2 weeks ago. And then suddenly like today, I think it was like Monday, it started yesterday. Like it randomly blew up again. Or not again, I mean, it randomly blew up like way more than it was. Like it only got a couple hundred views, I want to say. And now I think it's over 2K. We've gotten like a few followers from it too. Yeah, it's almost at 3K. And before it was like at 278. Like it was more a number like this, which like to me, I'm fine with. And like this one has 6 views, right? I just left the TikTok badge on it. On TikTok, it got hundreds, you know? But yeah, shout out to this video, because what he's talking about now with like, if you need to take time for yourself, or you need to like kind of build up a project and you can't put stuff out constantly, like it's a balance. There's moments where you're constantly putting stuff out, and then that allows you to kind of like go back into the huddle, think of the next play, and come out rested and like very aware of your surroundings. Yeah, shout out to this video. Let's watch this real quick. I'm sure that we saw the finished product on stream, but I remember editing this, so let me see. Oh my God.
Who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? Time to love again. It's the one that smoke blunts with you. I see your picture. Now they want to grab the guns and come and get you.
Great. So I mean, what's weird is like, I don't know. Like I got, again, like we don't do huge numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But like, lots of plays, lots of likes, but no like comments or anything like that. So that's a note, definitely. Going to make sure to like, make sure to try that format again of like walking through the beat. And it's less work because like I'm not performing, recording on camera in real time. Like it's like I can just walk through my project as a producer and like show my work, which I'm so happy that works well, because it's like a supernatural platform. But yeah, let's finish out this video.
Promote that song every single day, and something could happen with it. So I guess my main tip is for anyone who's feeling like maybe they're releasing songs for people to still discover and still listen to. Especially with TikTok these days, you can go on TikTok right now and promote your favorite song that you made from 2 years ago. Promote that song every single day, and something could happen with it. So I guess my main tip is for anyone who's feeling like maybe they're releasing stuff and they feel like they want to give up, just don't. Because no matter what, and don't delete any old stuff either.
Yes.
Just let everything pile up and just put stuff out. Stop waiting, stop being scared, just keep putting music up, stay consistent.
W. Dre.
Build that catalog because you want to be ready when something happens. I've seen tons of artists that pop off on TikTok with a viral hit. They have no other songs before that, and they have no plans for other songs in the future. So they either just fall off on their own, or they get picked up from a label. The label milks them for whatever that song is doing, and then they're shelved and forgotten. But if you're watching this and you are a fan of mine,
kind of dropping bars at the 9th minute, bro.
I just want to thank you so much for a crazy couple of years we've had together. I have some huge plans for next year. I'm working with a major label on some lo-fi classical stuff. May or not be starting an independent label of my own. And getting 21 million streams less than last year, believe it or not, it actually didn't hurt me. Normally it would. I'm going to keep it a bean. Normally I would probably be a little sad about that. I understand what's going on, and I'm just hella grateful. So I appreciate you all for sticking around. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.
That's a cool cat right there. Hell yeah. And yeah, it's all facts. Like, really, like, it's social media is crazy, bro. Like, if you let it consume you, it's just a lot. Like, you know, it can just be really rough on you. Like, just seeing the low numbers, and even if you have one thing, like one of our, and this is again relatively like for us, it's a lot, but our biggest remix, our biggest YouTube video has like 15,000 views, you know, and our other videos don't get anywhere near that. So yeah, like chasing that highest point you were at, that kind of thing. It's a stream of consciousness. And sometimes you're outputting, and other times you're, you know, building up, or you're gaining inspiration, that kind of thing. So yeah, I love that video. I'm super glad we watched that on stream. Yeah, what else? So I was gonna pick up another song. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. I think this is gonna be the next one, you know, in the kind of machine, you know, the song machine, as the Gorillas put it. This one's called City Birds. I actually recorded this in Pittsburgh. It was one of the last songs I recorded there. It's like guitar, lo-fi, chill. It's like I'm trying to make these chill and lo-fi and that kind of thing, you know what I mean? But have its own personality and not kind of just be like everything else. I don't know. Like I listen to lo-fi playlists a lot. Like I listen to a lot of lo-fi chill stuff. Some of it is like actually corny. Like I've said my piece about the album art. Like a lot of it is just super corny with these weird fonts, and it's like, how are they on these huge playlists? Like and like the songs, like it's pretty good, but it just sounds like cheesy. Like there's no soul to it. It sounds like a machine made it, which may be the case in 2022. Anyway, I'm not going to do too much with this. I'm just going to like noodle on this for like 12 minutes. You know, I'll probably get off around 10. But yeah, I was trying to make this a remix earlier. So you can see that real quick. This track, Missy, I had like Get Your Freak On in here, but it just wasn't working. I've been working on this beat for a while, and it's just like, it's kind of become its own thing. So I don't think it's going to be a playlist. But yeah, I'm just going to give it a listen and kind of do some tweaks and restart the process. Like, let's prepare this for submission. This new beat. Oh, hold up a sec. I have to turn on the audio device. It's weird because you need it like for your own like interface and also for streaming. So it's like sending multi outputs. But yeah, just give it a second. It's like processing or whatever. All right. So it updated multi output device. That was a weird process. We can talk about that another time. Let's see. That's better. Bass is looking a little gnarly, eh? I'm gonna use a gain plugin, so I'm getting enough juice to the chain. That was loud. All right, now it's too quiet. There we go. About 12 dBs down. I mean, this is pretty close. I mean, I think it hangs in there with a lot of the other tracks that you'd hear on those playlists. And again, like Eldre said, we're not just going to send them to the editorials. Like, you know, I have a bunch of contacts where it's literally not a high success rate. You know, you send it out to like 100 people, you might get 10 responses. But you know, that's those lead to good placements, and we got good numbers off those this year. We got 15,000 streams this year, which is, I mean, really, honestly, a great achievement for us. Last year was 5,000. And like, I don't know, kind of like he was saying, like, we put out our album at the beginning of the year, but it was like very early in the year and didn't follow it up in terms of like streaming services like Spotify. Those types of official releases didn't really follow it up for the rest of the year. Just a few singles. So yeah, super grateful. And, you know, I'm just going to stick to the plan and keep having fun. And I don't know, it's slowly growing, but it's growing. So I'm going to stick with it. Just keeping it interesting, you know, cutting out the bass and the hi-hat at certain parts. Sounds great. So you know what? I think this is where I'll say goodbye. You know, I'm not gonna get into anything too heavily with this track, so let's let it play us out. Thanks for being here. Prayers up for Breathe Deep. You know, let's hope that it gets picked up, gets placed on a playlist. If not, we got more coming. We're a consistent output. We're a beam of electricity, a ray of energy. We're not stopping. Love y'all. Thanks so much.